Hello YouTube, welcome back to another episode. And in today's video I'm going to talk about how I got into motorcycles, how I got into motorcycling, the motorcycle world. Let me take you back. So the year is 2009, I believe, and I purchased a laptop from Best Buy and started scouring the YouTubes, and I come across a moto vlogger that was I think doing pretty good back then, and the channel name was Blinky Cab, and he's an Australian guy, and he had a Ninja 250, 2010 Ninja 250. And I'd never really considered getting a motorcycle prior to seeing this guy's videos. But he talked it up so good that I started looking into it, started considering it. And I was like, well, up to this point, I didn't have any real experience riding a motorcycle, okay? If you want to be technical about it, my father got me like a Honda 50 when I was a kid. I crashed it into the house a few times and went inside crying, and so that was my introduction to motorcycles a long time ago when I was very, very little. So other than that, I didn't really have any experience, riding bikes. So I had to look up, how am I going to learn how to ride a motorcycle? Well, I'd watched a bunch of videos on YouTube, so I knew, like, mentally, or like if you were to read about it, I knew the mechanics of how the bike worked, how it operated, and how to do it, but I didn't physically have anything to practice on. And so I found a course that was certified through my state, which is Tennessee, and you paid a fee. I think I paid like $300. So you go on a Saturday, Sunday, and you go in not knowing how to ride a motorcycle, and you come out knowing how to ride a motorcycle. I went in, and the course was it was 2 days, but it was like a day and a half on the bike, and then half a day like in the classroom learning the rules and regulations and laws and so forth. And the class that I took was actually certified through the state of Tennessee. And so because of that, once you graduated the course, you took your certificate to the clerk's office and they stamped your driver's license, because you did your written, you did your riding, and that was it. So that's how that worked. So I did the course and it was good. If I remember correctly, it was like a Suzuki dual sport that I had to get. They kept all their bikes in like these outdoor Connex things, Connex boxes. So anyway, finished the course, got the certificate, took it to the clerk's office, got my motorcycle license, which on your driver's license says Class D for driver, I guess, so that would be like for a car. Well, then whenever you get your motorcycle license, if you don't know already, they stamp it with an M. So then, like, now my driver's license says DM, so I'm a dungeon master now. Just kidding. So also another cool thing about the certificate is that you can take it to whoever your insurance group is. And I think at the time I was using Progressive, so I got a discount on my motorcycle insurance. So that was pretty cool. So fast forward a little bit, still 2009-ish, I think, early 2010 maybe. Me and my dad go to a local dealership to look at the Ninja 250 because, like I said, Blinky Cab had really talked it up, and that's what I wanted to get. That's what I was dead set on getting. And so we went to a local dealer, and of course it was a Ninja. It was a Kawasaki dealer, so of course they had Ninjas there. And anyway, I went and sat on one. Now, I don't think I mentioned it yet, but I'm 6'3", with a 34-inch inseam and around 200 pounds. I weighed much less then because I was just out of high school and it was hard for me to put on weight. So anyway, 6'3", 34-inch inseam. I sat on the Ninja 250, not knowing anything about motorcycles, and my dad was immediately like, "Oh, this bike is way too small for you." And, you know, of course, now I'm on a Grom, which is hilarious. But at the time, of course, like I say, I didn't know anything about bikes. And my dad was there. And he's ridden motorcycles on and off, you know, for, gosh, 40, 50 years. So anyway, I was quickly bummed out. I was like, well, shit, man. I was dead set on getting this Ninja 250. Blinky Cab really talked it up. I went through all this, paid all this crap to get my motorcycle license, and now I'm not even going to be able to get the bike that I want. So I was really bummed. So one day after that, I come home from work one day, and my dad had been looking at, ooh, there's a nice Corvette. My dad had been looking at like used car websites or like Auto Trader, stuff like that. And he called me in there and he found a used bike. And I'm gonna save the details about what it was because I want to make a future video about my first motorcycle. But it was a Kawasaki and it was a Ninja, but it wasn't a 250, okay? And anyway, it was at a used car dealership and they took it in as a trade, I guess, from an individual, and it was like an hour away from where we lived at the time. And so I had cash. I'd been saving cash up because, you know, I wanted to get a bike, of course. And so we went to a little used car dealer. Like I said, it was like an hour away. It was like 50, 55 miles, something like that. So we went on a weekend, I think, if I remember correctly, or it could have been a day through the week, but no, I think it was a day through the week, and I'll tell you why in a second. So we went to the used car dealership, checked it out. Now this was 2010, like I said, and the bike was a 08, so it was fairly new. Didn't take it out on the road or anything, but scooted around on in the parking lot and was like, yeah, you know, it seems to ride good. And mechanically it was sound, looked like, you know, aesthetically it was in pretty good shape. So I got it. Now my dad had to spot me like $300 or $400 because, you know, I was a little short. Anyway, paid cash, so bought it outright. And now keep in mind, like I said, up until this point, the only riding I had done was in that course over the weekend, and just in a parking lot. And here I am fixing to have to ride this motorcycle back like an hour on the interstate, 65, 70 miles an hour. So I was a little nervous. I mean, it took us a few minutes to leave the dealership and get to the interstate. We stopped off at like a little gas station, had to top the tank off, of course. And I'm gonna turn around right here in the school parking lot. There's somebody riding my ass the whole time. I'm trying to make this video. Person. All right, so anyway, got on the interstate. I fell in behind my dad. He was driving. He had like a little Pathfinder at the time. So I followed him and his little Pathfinder all the way back home. So initially I was a little nervous, but quickly once we got on the interstate, and it was hard for me to keep a smile off my face all the way. Holy shit. Wow, that could have been bad. Woo! Okay. Let's go around that. I'm gonna go out the end here. Be a bad boy and go out the end. Whoa, that was close. It was fun. It was fun. I actually have the very first video I filmed of that motorcycle with an old digital camera from back in the day, and it was the quality is pretty crap. If I can find that video, I'm gonna splice it into this. So yeah, that's how I got into motorcycles. I mean, it was honestly, it was if it weren't for Blinky Cab, and it's really sad because I've checked his channel. His channel's still up. You can watch all the videos that I watched. What the fuck is going on with this thing? There we go, first. Jesus. He had really short videos, would be my only complaint, I guess. You know, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes. I mean, you'd be lucky to get like a 7-minute video out of him, which honestly, it's probably smart because it was quick consumption. You know, he was ahead of his time, I guess. But you look back on that stuff now, and the audio and video quality is just not what it is today. But for the time, you know, the early to late 2000s, you know, early 2010s or whatever, it was good for that time. Action cameras were new. So not only did he inspire me to get into motorcycles and stuff, he also inspired me to get into like action cameras. So I actually had the GoPro 2, I think, might even been the first GoPro, and I used to film my videos and all. I used to film videos of me riding and all that, but I just never stuck a microphone into my GoPro, unfortunately, or I could have had a motovlogging channel from like, Jesus, like 15 years ago. Crazy. But yeah, man, if it wasn't for an early day motovlogger, I would not be here. And I've had well, this is my 4th motorcycle, and so thanks, Blinky Cab. Shout out to you, sir. I hope you're doing well now, and if you ever have the chance to get back into motovlogging, please do, because I miss you, man. I miss you. All right, everybody, so thanks for tuning in to this video. If you stayed this long, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below and tell me how you got into motorcycling, because as I said at the start of this, I suspect my story is probably similar to a lot of yours. You know, you may have had a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, an uncle, a best friend, or whatever, a distant cousin, somebody that got you into motorcycles, dirt bikes, whatever. Tell me about it, and I'm sure everybody else would like to see it too. Until next time, peace.